Hello, everyone. This is Anita Agrawal again with Jewels Forever and CJ Designers Talk. This is a very special episode because it's a little bit different than usual. Today, I have with me Raphael Boivin, who is from InstaPraise. And InstaPraise is actually a jewelry appraisal software and management platform. Hi, Raphael. How are you doing today?
Hi, Anita. I'm great. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. I wanted to know, I looked in your LinkedIn and I noticed that your background is actually computer science. And I'm very curious, you created this incredible, software. How did you come up with the idea of InstaPraise? And tell me your background. Do you have any jewelry background as well?
That's right. You're right. I'm a little bit of an outsider in the industry. No formal background in the jewelry industry itself. As you said, computer science was my calling in school, and then I got out of school, had some experience working for creative agencies, doing websites, software for clients, and eventually started my own business, doing a small creative agency for local businesses, which ended up leading to a first jewelry store, which led to a second jewelry store, which then led to, working with gemologists and so on. So this really got me involved in the industry. So the industry, was a gradual process for me. So one client at a time, I got to know the industry a little bit more, a little bit better, kind of different aspects of the industry, retail, appraisals, insurance claims, things like that. So all these things. So the background kind of, slowly was put together. And then eventually we got the idea for InstaPraise. So I teamed up with our co-founder, Ron and Anita from IGL here in Calgary. Ron is our head gemologist here at InstaPraise, and really the knowledge for appraisals really comes from him, and I took care of basically the technical aspects, software, software development, software design, things like that. So team effort, knowledge was mostly our co-founder and a little bit of myself, but that's how it all came together.
Great. And how did you meet Ron again?
So Ron, once again, was part of the creative agency that we did, that I had previously. He's here in Calgary, Alberta. So by one client to another. So through existing clients, I got the introduction, and we did a bit of work together for his business, for IGL, and eventually we reconnected again once the InstaPraise idea came together. So and we decided to go for it and build something great for the industry.
That's fantastic. And it really seems like a very nice kind of software. So this is really exciting. How long has InstaPraise been around?
So the idea for the business came about in late 2016, 2017. We developed the product, tested the product for about 2 years, and we launched commercially at JCK 2019 in Las Vegas. And we've been growing ever since. So obviously with, the COVID hitting early 2020, that slowed us down a little bit, but I would say that the feedback so far has been great. And, for the past just over 2.5 years, we've been growing steadily, and we seem to, we're happy with where things are at. So.
Okay, fantastic. And what are your objectives for InstaPraise? Like, what is your long-term vision, and how has the pickup been for you?
So our objective is really, our mission is very simple. It's to streamline the appraisal creation and distribution process for all parties involved. So all parties, we're talking about retail jewelers, independent appraisers, the consumers, insurance companies. So if we look at the life cycle of the appraisal document, it touches several parties, would facilitate and streamline the process of creating it and distributing it and renewing it and so on. So, the appraisal kind of follows the life cycle of the item itself. So this is really what our mission is, one step at a time. And in regards to traction, our audience is worldwide, so we're not limited to any specific markets. We're really international. We have users in Europe, in Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, North America, obviously Canada, US. So we're in over a dozen countries, I believe, at the moment, and we're going to keep growing and keep improving the platform, listen to our users, listen to the feedback. And really our mission is to create the best possible product and service as possible.
Fantastic. Do you have to be a certified gemologist to use InstaPraise?
No, not necessarily. We encourage education, whether it's GIA, whether it's other, HRD, other GEMA, any other schools or organizations, educate NAJA, ASA, all those organizations provide great training for gemology and appraisals. We don't require a certain background. We do double check to make sure that people who sign up are legitimate. We do some background checks on those businesses and so on. So we do make sure that the people that use our platform are qualified. And the best example is, a lot of people we deal with, or a portion of our users have a lot of experience in the industry. We're talking 20 years, 30 years, 40 years in some cases. They've been looking at diamonds and gemstones for years, and they're not appraisers, but they work retail. So they provide, they make the jewelry, they purchase from trusted suppliers. Most of those stones, or those diamonds or gemstones, are graded by GIA, by these other labs, AGS labs, and so on. So in this case, we feel that we can trust those users to be able to identify really what the piece is, what the components of the items are. And most of the time, those components are accompanied by, like I said, GI grading reports or AGS lab grading reports and so on. So there's always multiple levels of knowledge, or, several eyes looked at those items in the past, agreed on a grading. So we really, to answer your question, we don't require a certain level of training, but we do strongly encourage it. And education is something we try to encourage, whether we're scholarships or sponsor organizations, things like that. We try to be very proactive with that. So always recommended to look into the proper training and education. But everyone is welcome on InstaPraise, and like I said, from there we'll kind of it's a bit of a judgment call to see who we feel should or should not be using the platform in this case. So, yeah.
So I know that you mentioned that you're in a dozen countries already. Would you say that most of your users are maybe small business owners, or they have their own jewelry stores? Would you say that it's easy for them to use? Like if you're just starting out in the industry, or if you have a small business, would you say that it's easy and user-friendly to use?
So I would say that we focus, we put a lot of emphasis on user experience. So InstaPraise should be a self-serve platform. It is, so just like any gas station, you come in and you consume the product by yourself, or the service by yourself. It should be, we have a very streamlined step-by-step process that should be very easy to understand. I would say the vast majority of our user base finds it very easy to adopt, to learn. The learning curve isn't so high. There are a few things we can go over with the users. But basically what we do is we have a very personal approach. Although we are a web-based business. We are a software company. There are very real people behind it. So we reach out to our users, to our new users. We'll take the time to do a full demo with them over the phone, Zoom, conference call, whatever is needed. The vast majority of our users are, I would say, retailers, independent. We have some chain stores as well, multiple locations. We have independent appraisers and grading labs. So, but in terms of the software itself, we're always improving. We feel that so far we provide a great user experience, but we always strive to improve, make it better, faster, easier to understand. Still some obstacles here and there, but I would say so far, the feedback that we're getting is great. So.
Great. Without, further ado, I was wondering, could you maybe walk us through a quick demo of this? Would that be okay? Yeah, that'd be great.
We can absolutely do that. So what we can do is, so I can share my screen here and we'll walk through an appraisal real quick. So obviously, we'll try to go as fast as possible. That's the objective, to be respectful of the time here. But let me share my screen. So can you see our screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So when people sign into InstaPraise, you'll see their dashboard or account home, account summary. This is what we see, our latest appraisals. So let's jump right in. So we'll create an appraisal here. New customer, existing customer, or stock. So we'll do a stock appraisal, which is basically an item for our own inventory as a store owner. So we'll save and continue. We want to do an insurance appraisal. We want to do a diamond ring. So we'll do that. We'll select an item type, ring, save and continue. So the reason we ask you for the item type is because InstaPraise will help you generate a description for your item. For each item type, ring, necklace, watches, earrings, we define a set of properties that you see on the left. And all we need to do is here on the right, select the values offered for each attribute, and we'll build a description for you. So quantity, so one ring, it's a lady's ring. It's a custom-made wax cast. Metal finish will be polished. Plating will be rhodium plated. Metal will be a 18 karat white gold. And we'll say we did test the metal. It was stem, but we also tested it to make sure. So we'll indicate that as well. Next, gemstone layout. We don't like the options here maybe, so we'll skip it. So you can skip a step. You can pick multiple values, whatever you prefer. So here we'll skip it. Gemstones, so what kind? So it's a diamond ring. It could have sapphires, emeralds. You can pick multiple combinations. We do have lab grounds, imitations, and so on at the bottom here. So it's a diamond ring. We'll keep it simple. It's a solitaire ring, solitaire engagement ring here we'll choose with a continental shank. And then the weight will be 5 grams and a size 6. We have multiple measurement options here at the bottom, but those are optional, so we'll skip those for now. And stamped 18K and in new condition. So as you can see, without touching our keyboard or just a couple of keystrokes, we built a description that is consistent. So if you work as a team, multiple users within the company, then you can make sure that most of your descriptions are consistent, same way, same order, same properties, so you don't forget anything. So this is where InstaPraise can act a little bit as a educational tool. We don't necessarily call ourselves that way, but you can use, by seeing those terms, those options on a daily basis, is where you can kind of get curious about some of those, do some research. So in terms of education, we see ourselves a little bit of a, we can help you or encourage you to kind of do some research by showing you the options, the terms that may or may not be popular in your market, in your area. So yeah, so the description that we have here, we're happy with it. We can modify it, but we'll leave it as is. We'll save the description. Now the components, as you can see, we haven't really mentioned the diamonds yet. So a lot of people ask us, well, what about the carat weight, the color, clarity, cut, and so on? So a ring can have multiple diamonds. So this is where we add them under components. So here we'll add a diamond. We are connected directly with GI and AGS Labs for diamond
wow.
database.
Yeah.
So if you have a ring with a diamond that is graded by GI, all we need to do is type in a grading report number, which we have here.
Oh, wow.
We'll want to import it from GI. So if you have a
Yeah.
grading report by AGS, you can import from AGS as well. In this case,
Yep.
we'll import a stone from GI. So we'll click import data. Let the software do its magic, and then all the data is imported from GI.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's
Yeah.
so convenient. It's really
Yeah.
great.
And then not only that, we pre-populated that form, but we also attached a
Wow.
copy of the grading report to the appraisal.
Incredible. So this is hooked up to their database as well. It's connected to their.
That's correct.
Okay.
Absolutely. This is connected directly to GI and AGS, and then we'll have some announcements in the coming probably sometime in the next week or two about other labs that we got on board. So stay tuned for more announcements, but more labs are coming. So
Fantastic.
now we added the diamond. All we need to do is mention how it's set. So let's say prong set, 4-prong set in 18 karat white. Save the diamond, and we have the body of the appraisal here. So now we could add gemstones, we can add watch models, pearls, opals, clasp backings, and so on. Well, in this case, it's solitaire diamond rings, so we'll save and continue. Upload a picture. So I'll try to find a ring here. So maybe not a solitaire, but I'll try to find something that is. So let's look at the picture editor in this case. So when you upload a picture, you can move your crop area here. You can eliminate the white space around it. You can brighten it to really zoom in on the picture. So we have a ring here. We can also use diagrams. You can also upload videos. So if people use a Gem Lightbox, you can upload 360 videos. This is useful for the customer portal. So each customer gets access to their appraisals online, and they can view the videos on there.
Wow.
Yep.
That is so cool. This is very, very streamlined, and it's very easy to use. I think the interface is very nice and clean. It's wonderful.
Thank you. We're working on a second version of the platform, which will be even better, we're hoping. So lots of very cool things coming. Save and continue. We'll go on to pricing. So now if our users have a subscription to RatNet, to the Gem Guide, to IDEX, we do connect those accounts directly to your InstaPraise account. So for example, here we want to price that diamond. We have a round brilliant cut diamond weighing 1.57 carat. We'll click on get the price, and we get prices from GemWorld or from the Gem Guide or RAP.
Wow.
So here, all we have to do is pick the value. So let's say we go with the Gem Guide. We'll pick at 7,500. We pre-populate this entire row with a markup. If we think the retail markup is a bit too high, we can lower it to 1.6, for example. And this is our retail price for the diamond. Now, obviously, InstaPraise, we're not a pricing service. We always leave it to the discretion of the appraiser or the jeweler to really come up with the correct or the most accurate price for appraisal here. But we do help you price the metals. We're connected to real-time market prices with your currency conversion. If you're working in euros or pounds or Canadian dollars, for example, we'll do the conversion for you. And then here at the bottom, we come up with the price. Once we price out all the components, the diamond, the metals, the 4-prong set will be, let's say, $45. No labor or design costs. So if you have sales tax, we can always calculate those as well.
And
let's see what
you can change the currency, I'm assuming, too, right?
Yeah. So we currently handle over a dozen currencies. We can add more. So basically, if somebody signs up and the currency of their choice is in there, we can add it in a very quick amount of time. So now we're working in US dollars. We'll round that up. We want a nice a nice price here on our document. We're going to also pick to show the price of gold on our document. Save and continue. And what tools that we use. So we use a loop, we use a metal tester, we're going to use a microscope, and we could use any of those tools as well. This is up to the jeweler to indicate which tools or instruments they use to come up with those conclusions and preview appraisal. And here we are.
Wow. This is so easy to use. It's really neat. It's really neat. I definitely appreciate this demo. It makes it so easy. And one question that I had, because when I was looking through your website, it said that the nice thing is that let's say a client buys this ring, right? And they want the appraisal for it. They have access to it on their own portal, right? So they can access this from anywhere.
That's correct. So for example, here we have a customer called John Doe. So from our dashboard, we click on John Doe's profile. And here you have all of the appraisals for John and Jane Doe. And all we have to do is activate that account. And then from there, they'll receive a username and password where they can access. So they get a username and password and a link to the jeweler's portal. Each of our jeweler has a unique portal with their logo, their branding, their name, where their customers can log in to view their appraisals. We don't want the customer to be exposed to the InstaPraise brand. We want the customer to be exposed to their jeweler's brand. It's about that relationship. So we want a relationship with the jeweler, with the appraiser, but we want to offer them the tools to build a relationship with their customers, to grow their brand loyalty, and so on. So we want to look good, but we want to make them look good, and we want their customers to be happy. So
yeah, that's very convenient. And likewise, obviously the person who, the company that has this account, I mean, obviously they're going to be able to, access all of their appraisals as well. So if a customer calls them 10 years later, they have access to this instantly just by finding the customer's name, right?
Yeah, it works as a great way to sort. It's, InstaPraise can be used to track your inventory, your stock. By doing a stock appraisal, you can keep it as a file management system to track your appraisal over the years. Creating the document obviously is a big part of what we do. Distribution with either printing the appraisal or by the customer portal. So a great solution, I guess, for all parties involved, whether you're independent appraiser, retail jeweler, independent, whether you have a retail store or you buy appointment only. So InstaPraise, as we move forward, is going to be a great business solution for people in the industry.
Well, that was my next question. So this is, you're getting right into, line of my next question was, what do you think the future of these types of applications are? And for the industry in general, how does this shake things up for the industry?
Well, it's a big, with obviously if we look at the past few years with the shift to online suppliers, online vendors, and then you look at COVID, how it affected, people working from home, people not being allowed to go on location, or it limits kind of the amount of traffic. So this is one more step into taking your company digital. And in this case, it's the appraisal. We've identified many more aspects of the industry that we can streamline and, shift over to a digital workflow. So we're not gonna, share too many details at this time, but to go back to what I just said earlier, InstaPraise, what you're seeing now is the tip of the iceberg. We're going to be right now, you could qualify us as an appraisal solution in terms of creation and management, distribution, and so on. But eventually, things are going to evolve into a more complete business solution for the industry. So like I said, I'm hesitant to share too much with you, but announcements are going to be coming probably soon. You know, we have some dates in mind in the next year. So over the next 12 months, you know, keep an eye out for our news releases and press release and articles and announcements, because we're working on big things, and we're you know, it's very easy for us because ever since we launched, we just listen to our users. Users, you know, share feedback with us. We love to hear, you know, we love to hear what we do well. We love to hear what people like. We, even more so, we love to hear what people are frustrated with, whether it's with us, whether it's with other solutions, their workflow. This gives us a tremendous amount of information that we can use to create the best solution and solve their problems, solve their issues, streamline their workflow, to make work more enjoyable, eliminate those daily frustrations in the workflow. So lots on our plates, lots of cool things coming. And yeah.
I think it's fantastic that you can access these appraisals at any time. I mean, so many times I'll hear from customers, they'll be like, oh, I lost this appraisal. Do you have an extra copy? And then I don't even remember the number of the appraisal, because we deal with tens of thousands of products a day. Like, you're like, okay, well, how do I find this? And then you go to the appraiser and they're like, well, I'm dealing with like tens of thousands of appraisals. How do you find this? So it's a really nice way to have it very organized. I mean, I really appreciate that aspect of it. Just one more question. The idea like is that if, like, let's say they don't have a GIA appraisal or, you know, another type of certification for their gemstone or their diamond, you would still have to inspect the stones as they are, right? Like, that's the idea behind it.
So behind the appraisal, it all depends. I mean, it's always a good practice to do so. And you have to understand, my background is not as an appraiser myself, but the retailers that we deal with, and I'm really looking at the retailers here, because the independent appraisers will all have their required training. The retailers that we deal with, you know, usually if they have outside appraisals, so somebody comes in, they bring in some items that they purchased years ago. Most of the time, what we'll see is that those retailers will outsource those appraisals to a qualified gemologist or appraiser. Now, the other scenario is if a retailer creates an item for a customer, they will purchase the different parts of this item, the mount, they'll purchase the diamonds separately. Usually, those trusted suppliers will identify, you know, those stones will come with a GIA grading report, for example. So you know that with the inscription on the diamond, you know that this stone has been graded by GIA sometimes in the past. So this is where you can trust, you know, in the industry, GIA, AGS, those are trusted names. There's many other labs out there that are very trusted, have been in the industry for a very long time. So usually the retailers that we deal with will purchase those diamonds from trusted suppliers that come with a grading report. So the inspection part on that end becomes less, I would say not less important, but less crucial, I guess, aspect of the business of the process. And you know, if people are not sure, it's always a great idea to outsource the job to your trusted appraiser, to your third party. It's always recommended. So if you don't feel you're qualified to perform the job, always a great idea to outsource it, because the last thing you want to do in the industry, especially, is to break the trust with the customer. So if you identify something, you know, it could cost you more in the long term to misidentify something than you know, looking at just that one job, try to get it done as soon as you can out the door. So there's multiple ways you can go about all these different jobs, but usually always a good idea to outsource it if you're not sure.
Okay. I mean, those are wise words indeed. So, with that, I really appreciate the time you took to give us a demo, to walk us through this exciting piece of, software. I think that it's definitely a game changer. So it's exciting. And I really do look forward to hearing what's next. How do people find you? What are your social media handles?
So easiest way to find us, instapraise.com. Our handles, we have a couple different ones, Instagram, Facebook. Look for InstaPraise or InstaPraise app, APP. So InstaPraise app or InstaPraise on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. People can connect with me on LinkedIn or connect to the page and sign up to our free trial. So we have a 14-day free trial available to everyone. No credit card, no commitment required. It takes all but 2 minutes to sign in and sign up and get started. So once people sign up to our free trial, we add samples to their account. We'll give them a call, welcome them to the platform, give them a full demo, go over some appraisals together, help connect their accounts with the Gem Guide with RAP. So like I said, software company online, people think there's robots in the back. There's very real people, very accessible. A lot of our users have my cell phone number, and I try to pick up whenever I can. So we're a very personal approach to the relationships with our users.
Fantastic. Okay. And I think that's ultimately what people want. So that's great. Thank you so much, Raphael. I appreciate all your time. And please do follow them on Instagram. If you want to follow us, it's Jewels Forever CA. And I'm Anita with another episode. Thank you very much for joining us today. Bye,
Thank you,
everyone.
Anita. Bye-bye.